This is Grizz's workshop. This scruffy-looking mofo is Grizz.
Not an expert, not an exemplar of safety. Proceed at your own risk.
So a couple of years ago I made my wife a box out of this old tabletop I found in a ditch. Still a bit more material left and she wanted another one so she could take even more stuff out. So this is me cutting it on the table saw using my crosscut sled and then ripping it to thickness. Checking it's square. The cut went through fine. Very happy with that. I wanted a rebate stroke rabbit on the side to take the base and to take the sides of the box I'm making. So I'm using this rabbiting stroke rebate plane. I do normally use just my router, but it was a very lovely day and all my neighbours had their windows open and it was the weekend, so I thought I'd just use my plane so I didn't upset anyone. So just measure in there for the base, did before. This time I'm using a thin sheet of plywood as my guide instead of the spirit level, as my knuckles were catching it as I did it. This is an old Planemaster or Paramo Planemaster 10. From what I understand, most people dislike them. They do come with replaceable blades, but you can't get them anymore because it's quite old. But I did sharpen the blade that it came with and getting good results here. I'm quite pleased with it, especially as it only cost me £3 in the charity shop last year. Yeah, those shavings are quite good, considering it's not supposed to be a very good plane. I'm getting the job done, I'm getting down to the level. It is easier using the router, I must admit. But this is quieter, and I get to use my muscles. So this is a router plane that I'm using here, just to make sure that the depth is consistent on them. Now moving on to the sides. These are wider. And this is against the grain. So this is even tougher on the plane, and it's doing a good job. It won't produce shaving when you go cross grain, just all these little shavings. Just cleaning up the edge there with the chisel. You don't get such a clean finish, as I said. It's the second block. By the time I got onto the second side, I was much better at it. Using the pull saw to cut the line. So here's the finished side. I've got two of these like this. Again, using the router plane just for consistency. Now I'm cleaning the top up. Get all that varnish off. Take a lot of sanding or card scraping. But with this plane didn't take any time at all. So I drilled some holes and to take screws, just pulling our little pilot hole through to attach it to the top. There's some glue in there, as you can see. Can't remember why I quite had to turn. No, I think I had one side on and upside down. I think that's why I had to take it off. Yes, that was the case. One of the sides was upside down, so I had to take that bit off and put it back on again. I'm clamping it in place. Just to try and keep it square as much as anything. The screws and keep it attached. So I'm going over the edges to make sure that they're all consistent, and putting some glue in any gaps so that the sawdust would fill it. This is the finished one. This is the bottom. This is, so I'm just putting a chamfer around all the edges, so making sure that they're all consistently the same height. Using the spoke shave to do the insides of the top here. Finish off with a chisel. Now off screen I did cut the base so it fit the gap. I'll be fitting it any second now. Here we go. Glue around the edge as per usual. And I made it very tight, even though it didn't feel as tight as this when I tried it, the dry fit. But anyway, a few whacks with a hammer and it sits in nice. And tidy the sides up so it meets the bottom nice. I'll just use my little block plane. No one's going to see this. Come back with a nail gun, just make sure it stays seated. Drilling through for the handle on the side. I had these templates to guide the Forstner bit through, 3 Forstner bits to make a pattern, and then once the holes are through I come back with flash trim bit on my router, which unfortunately I didn't film. I must have run out of space on the disc. You can see I'll go right through and then try and finish off from the other side so that it's a nice and smooth on both sides, you don't get too much blowout. And this is the seat I worked on off camera. This goes on the top of the box. It's just a bit of 3/4 inch plywood with blocks so it stays on in the centre, and a little bit of foam I rescued from an old couch I chucked away, and a bit of vegan suede that comes from a vegan cow. And here I am now flush trimming the plugs that cover the screw holes. You didn't see me do any of that because I didn't film it, and now you can't see me do this because I didn't position the camera properly, but that's what I'm doing. Once I finished that, I gave it a quick sand. Clean and ready for a stain. So I roughed the box up again by putting a bit of dark walnut stain on there. Try and make it look rustic like the other one. I've done a reasonable job. It's a very practical footstool box to have when you go away in case the place you're staying doesn't have one. It can also be used as a seat. And like I say, stores lots of stuff, so very practical. Let me know what you think down below, and thanks for taking the time to watch.
See you next time on Grizz's Workshop.